But when you really think about it, yeah, he told that joke on Kings of Comedy. And Katt is saying, no, he came to where I was at and he saw me do that joke several times, and that was 2 years before Kings of Comedy even aired or went on their run.
Right.
So even though it's he say she say, I think Katt is correct in there.
But all right. I'm at subject here. If your excuse to something is the timeline's off, like that just doesn't. That seems lame. You're not definitive. The timeline's off. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Did you steal the joke or not? No, I didn't steal it in February, but I stole the shit out of it in October. Katt Williams.
Yeah, this is a trending topic that's going on. So his interview on Shannon Sharp's podcast aired today. All right, and he went in, man. He went in on what we're not really going to discuss is he did go in on a lot of other comedians, his peers, and things like that. That's not really what we're here to react to. But Cedric the Entertainer, Steve Harvey, a lot of those guys, Ricky Smiley got a lot, and and what I caught from a lot of that part though is he is what he's saying throughout the interview is he's a very competitive guy. So, a lot of those guys he was talking about, it came from a competitive sense, like they're not better than me and this is why.
Right.
Or these guys said XYZ about me and so here's something about them. That's where all of that came from, that energy came from. Okay. Now Cedric stealing his joke, I thought was very interesting.
Are you familiar with the joke they were referring to?
Yeah, okay. I am. Cedric told that joke.
You agree that it was stolen?
Let me tell you, this is something that's been going back and forth. So
Okay.
Cedric was on Shannon Sharp's podcast as well. They talked about it. And when you hear people talk, you're like, oh, well, I can understand that thing. So what Cedric was saying is the timeline is off. He said Katt can't be right because the timeline is off. And I'm like, okay, well, if the timeline's off. So maybe Katt's just crazy. But when you really think about it, yeah, he told that joke on Kings of Comedy. And Katt is saying, no, he came to where I was at and he saw me do that joke several times, and that was 2 years before Kings of Comedy even aired or went on their run.
Right.
So even though it's he say she say, I think Katt is correct in there. And some comedians will tell you like, hey,
But all right. I'm at subject here. If your excuse to something is the timeline's off, like that just doesn't. That seems lame. You're not definitive. The timeline's off. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Did you steal the joke or not? No, I didn't steal it in February, but I stole the shit out of it in October. Come on, that's just weak.
And to your credit, that's what Katt is saying. Like you didn't even he's telling Shannon like you didn't even question him on it or challenge him. That's the word he used. You didn't even challenge him on it. You got to challenge these guys when they're saying these things, and that's what Katt is saying to Shannon. And so that is a point there. And so you got all of that going on. But what I wanted, because we're going to be talking about Epstein right after this. So what I found most interesting about it is the part where he's talking about the homosexuality in Hollywood, and then I paired that because Corey Holcomb is another comedian who talks about this a lot as well. So I'm going to play a quick clip from the interview, and let's see here.
Before the thing came out, but he offered to suck my. They canceled me for talking about Harvey Weinstein before the thing came out, but he offered to suck my penis in front of all my people at my agency. What am I supposed to do? He did all of that. I'm thinking I'm the only black person on the script. I get there, it's 3 other black guys on there. Woo. Huh.
So you wonder what they did to get there.
I told him no. What y'all do?
Listen, all you guys who thinking of coming out of here thinking you gonna make it, your asshole must be sacrificed. You're not gonna get it. You're not gonna get it, homie. If you ain't coming out of here to ride cowboy style at these parties, all this stuff you seeing, you ain't getting nothing but bits and pieces of the truth. These parties in Hollywood come with consequence and penetration.
Oh, damn. The pause and the penetration. That was great. I mean, probably not if you're on the end of that. That's too funny.
Yeah, and you hear these stories about these crazy parties from these big people and these people of power in Hollywood, and you scoff at it. It's hard to believe, but the people who talk about it, they're deemed crazy or they're deemed liars or they're deemed like the Katt and the Corys. But man, there has to be something to it, man.
Well, we've been on a run here with a couple of these stories where it's like, with Diddy or whatever, you hear rumors for years.
Yeah.
And then at some point the dam breaks and everything comes out. And it's like, that's been, the whole concept of casting couches and all this stuff has been around forever. There's probably an element of truth to it, which is highly disturbing.
Yeah.
But I'm an information guy. Like, I like... Put some names on it. Put some dates and some places.
Well, Katt did.
And who did what? Did he name the guy?
Yeah, he named the guy. He
Who
said
was it?
Is it Harvey Weinstein?
Harvey
Weinstein, right?
Weinstein.
Yeah, he said said he wanted to suck Katt's penis, and apparently Harvey had some influence on this role, like you said, and he's telling you that the other black actors are in there.
Well, he was big with the Me Too thing. Like he
Yeah.
he abused a bunch of chicks too, Harvey Weinstein.
Well, he's abusing both.
Yeah.
Or maybe the guys are implicit, so so it's not really abuse.
Yeah,
if
yeah,
the
yeah.
guys are signing up for it. But where
do I sign up for that?
So yeah, and yeah, so he put a name on that. That interview was full of he named everything, names. But it's just crazy. Now we were talking on the phone earlier about. Like, if you're at a place, now this is the thing, if you're TD Jakes, right? So we talked about a little bit about it last week, but like, it's kind of true. Like, okay, why would you be going to a Diddy party if that's true?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you say, okay, yeah, church people can go out and have fun, we can go to parties, we just don't have to partake. But if you're in that circle, like, you have to know, like, somewhat of what goes on at Diddy parties. We have a general idea of what goes on at Diddy parties. You can watch a Diddy interview and just assume what goes on.
Get a sense of what goes on. No, it's true. And even you give the person a benefit of the doubt. Like, you give him, like, okay, I met Diddy. He seems like a cool guy. He's obviously high pro. He invited me to a party. Let me go. And when you go, like, then you're going to know for sure.
Yeah.
And if you go back, you know what you're going back for. That there's no mystery anymore.
No, there's no mystery.
There's no misunderstanding. There's no confusion. It is what it is. But it is like, I guess, but like, in truth, the conversation we were having though is like, what goes on at a party and how, and I think, you could be at a party the first couple of hours and it's relatively whatever. If you circle back another 3 hours, everybody's naked and high on cocaine and doing whatever. Like, you just don't, like, what is the, what happens, Or there could be like the whole, like most of the parties going on in one portion of a house or whatever, but there's another area of the house where different things are happening.
Yeah.
And it's possible that a person can go to this party, not necessarily see everything that's going on, and leave having an experience that doesn't fully encapsulate whatever other depravities were ongoing.
Well, yeah, because I told the story about the homecoming party that I went to.
Yeah, you dropped the ball.
Yeah, well,
I'm still bitter about that.
I'm just saying, I'm just going to a late night homecoming party. I'm not thinking anything of it, and then I get there, and as soon as I go to the door and walk a couple paces, and there's sex toys on the table, and then there's girls and and lingerie, lights go off, and you're like, what's going on here? So that's my opportunity to either leave or stay or. And next year, do I come back to the same party?
There's no opportunity there, but you stay.
There's no
option. There's no decision. We're going to figure out exactly what's happening here.
Well, what if I walk out and don't see any girls? I just see all guys. And there's sex toys on the table.
Walk out. Hopefully you would have saw a little bit about what's going on there.
But I'm just saying. So but that is a part of it here in this thing. Now I wonder, and when you think about you know, way back in the medieval time, you know how much homosexuality was recorded in the olden times.
Caligula and those guys.
Yeah, and it's like it's almost as if, you know, it's just the same shit, different day. You know, because
it's a tradition.
It's like a human male,
unlike any other.
You,
it's the fucking masters
of the, and it's not even a white black thing. It's almost like a power. If you're in a position of power thing, yeah, it's like a power play, position of power thing. And it's like if you're in that group, or if you want to be a part of this group, these are the things that we do here. And if you want to sit here at this table, you have to participate, type of thing.
Yeah,
and this is what we do. This is how we have fun.
That's fair. To say, yeah. I mean, say, yeah. If you're trying to get to the certain like circle or level of power, and you go to an event like that, and you see how everybody's getting down, it's like you're. Yeah, well, I mean, if you kind of say no and leave that, you're leaving more than just the party.
Yeah,
you're not gonna have that rapport with those people.
Yeah.
You know, that's true.
It's
disturbing, but
you
true.
know, in college, we were all drinkers. Now, we had a roommate, you know, and there were other guys who weren't actually roommates who were in our circle, but one of our roommates didn't drink. And it, you know, we always try to get him to drink because we were every drinkers. Everybody's drunk, having a good time. We want this guy to be a part of what we have going on.
Peer pressure at its finest. And
the thing is that it was like he was kind of outside of that circle only because he didn't drink. He was a cool guy. He went to class smart. He had chicks or whatever, but he wasn't a part of this inner circle because he wouldn't drink.
Yeah. No,
you know what I mean?
Well,
and that's just
like,
a part of the thing.
There's parts of the day, parts of the week when he's there.
Yeah.
And then it's when y'all go to do your thing, he's not there.
Yeah, he's out of the loop.
You miss those times.
Yeah. And as far as Hollywood and Katt Williams is saying, and it's very interesting because Katt Williams is almost a lone wolf, and you know, and he had a couple slaves for like Kevin Hart and things like that, and you know, and he's talking about this somewhat. He almost is talking about like a Illuminati type thing. I know a lot of conspiracy theorists are going to go crazy with that in the very beginning of the interview.
Yeah,
that's the part he was talking about. You know, like I said, I just said his name.
Weinstein?
No. Kevin Hart. And and those guys, and a lot of those guys come clicked up and grouped up and things like that. You know, I don't know, man. I don't know. And then it's like, you know, you could say, I could do more than say. I'm not sucking no dick. I'm poor, and I've always been poor, and I would love to have money, but you know, that's just, you know,
it's a bridge too far.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's not enough cocaine in the city, but you know, I don't know. I can't blame these guys if that is what they're doing. You know, Boondocks had a fucking really funny show about the Tyler Perry thing and what you had to do. It was almost like a sex cult, and you know, if you was like a guy, you had to come in and do all type of crazy things for Tyler Perry to be on his movies and to be
damn.
Yeah, even the Boondocks called that out. And it's like, you know, if that is really the case or somewhat similar for these guys or certain, you know, entertainment groups, you know, if you've been in poverty, man, it's almost like it ain't for me, but I understand, man. It's like, it ain't for me, but if you're trying to get out, I understand, man.
Well, I mean, the crazy thing is, if you go, you know, if you go all in for the entertainment industry, this is what you want to do. This is your passion or whatever, and it's like, you know, you're either gonna do this or you're gonna get stuck with a 9-to-5. Like, you know, and again, I don't know that we can answer the question truly because you're not on the precipice of your
that's
goal.
another thing.
You know, it's easy to sit here and say, "Nah, I'm not going to do that." But like, if you're one thing away, like I always looked at it like with like the steroids in sports and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't necessarily begrudge the guys for trying to do that.
Yeah.
You know, this is what your whole life is predicated on doing.
Mm-hmm.
If you go this extra mile, you get there. If you don't, you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're just some guy that used to have a little talent. And so, you know, I don't know, man. That's the thing. But I mean, yeah, here's another one. Like even like in terms of just from a psychological standpoint, like think about like a lot of weird shit that happens to get into like a regular fraternity at a school.
Yeah.
Like people do creepy ass, weird, sometimes homosexual type of stuff
Yeah.
when you're ostensibly not homosexual.